All right, I'm not gonna really have any exciting intro, especially with the Girl Meets World song on it. Never mind. I'll do it. Yeah. Girl Meets Goodbye. The only thing I can pretty much say about this episode, besides the fact it's the final episode on Disney with Girl Meets World, is that Disney was itching to get rid of this series. Like, they really gave two craps about Girl Meets World. They barely gave any climactic moments, rarely any ship moments. They did not care about this series at all. They wanted it gone so much. And here's why I say it. We had the opportunity to see maybe a huge majority of all of the Boy Meets World cast, except for a few. Minus Farkle's mom, can't remember her name, minus Rachel, and minus Angela, which happens to be they were all good friends in college, but for some reason they weren't there. And yeah, we ended up seeing one of my favorites, Eric Matthews. I have a massive crush on him. Oh my gosh, he's awesome. He's like one of the most awesome characters on the show. Anyway, and we finally had a chance to see Sean, especially with Katie, them as a couple finally. And then we had the two Morgans, which I thought was interesting. The fact they made them twins, and yeah, we know the whole thing with the whole Morgans, but I thought it was kind of cool to see both Morgans there. And then of course that was Josh, and then it was Feeny. We had a Feeny moment, man. And then we had Corey's old English teacher. The black guy wasn't there. I forgot his name, and that's a shame. I call him the black guy, but y'all know what I'm talking about. His English teacher's friend. It would have been nice to see him too, but I don't know what. I mean, I remember that he was actually one of the teachers, the AV teacher, and it would have been nice for him to be there too. But we had a huge majority of the cast, not all of them. But other than that, fine, whatever. But the thing of it is that it was so force fed. It didn't feel natural. Everything felt like a speech. Everybody was standing there like they were rehearsing their lines. It's and I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, Topanga did her best. Corey did her best. The old school folks did their best. Everybody did their best. The episode wasn't terrible. There was no, it didn't make you feel bad. But I guess it's because of how hard I'm trying to get Girl Meets World on Netflix or on Hulu or any other place that'll take them that will do them much better than Disney. The fact that I have this much hope that it's going to be picked up, it didn't feel sad for me. But it was also very anticlimactic. I thought that I would at least feel something, especially seeing the girls cry and how heartbroken Augie was and how heartbroken Ava was. But the problem was, I didn't really feel any of that at all. And the one thing that I kind of did have the feel for definitely was Smackle. Smackle has had the most growth in this entire series, especially when it came to how she started feeling things, how she felt sadness, and how she's trying to identify it. I think it's great. But I'm telling you right now, they're hinting hard. They're hinting hard with Zeodora. I'm not going to lie. They are hinting hard with Zeodora, especially with Farkle and Riley. They're hitting moments with them. We had a Ryarko moment and we had a Zeodora moment. We did not have a Lucaia moment. For some reason, I think that's kind of thrown out the window for a while. Or that's going to be the last to be built up. But for those that actually thought that Riley and Lucas broke up, it was never implied. It just seemed like that they were okay with saying goodbye. And it was like, I'm sorry, I hate to say it, but if my boyfriend, somebody I really cared about, was going halfway across the ocean to be in a completely different place, I would be crying my freaking eyes out. There was no emotion with those two, and I'm hoping that they kind of catch on. But there was no implication that Ruckus broke up. Like, it was no implication at all that they broke up. They're probably still together, but they're probably questioning their relationship as a whole. And the fact that Topanga actually did make her decision to stay there, I just wish I had literally just so much more emotion out of this, but I just didn't. Everything felt like a rehearsed speech. It didn't feel natural. It didn't feel Like, oh my gosh, this is going to be amazing. This moment ended with a thud. And Disney really wanted this show gone. And that's how I felt the entire time. I didn't feel like that Disney cared enough about this show to give the show a decent send off, but they cared less because they put it freaking early. They are talking about making commercials about the Stuck in the Middle movie when that show is a load of garbage. And then talking about Liv and Maddie when that show is okay. They're promoting the shows that they made, but they literally gave Girl Meets World only probably less than the time that it should have had. And they honestly put it 2 hours early than the 8:30 time slot it used to have, which showed me they gave two craps about this show. They didn't even give it a decent send off. They were just like, go. But something's telling me that maybe the reason why they were gone so quickly is the fact that the show got picked up. It could be a chance that they actually do have the rights, that some network, whether it's Netflix, Hulu, or whatnot, has the rights to see Girl Meets World. In my opinion, I'm going for Netflix. Netflix is international. A lot of people have it. It can be at a lot more homes. I'm rooting for Netflix to have it. Plus, Netflix will actually give it more of a chance to be the show it needs to be. So I'm still rooting for Netflix to actually get it. And like I said before, for those that are actually still wanting to go for Netflix, go to the suggestion page and definitely put it down as Girl Meets World Original, so it could be a Netflix original. If you want to do it at Hulu, just like I saw on Smurf Vlogs, it said it wasn't international. So I really want everybody, including everyone all over the world, to actually be able to experience the show. So I'm ready for Netflix. I am all the way. So vote for Netflix and just keep on trying, y'all. Don't give up. This show is amazing, and I think a lot of people see that too. That's why this show this final episode didn't do much for me, because I'm still hopeful that the show's gonna do well. I'm hopeful that the show's gonna get picked up, whether by Netflix or somewhere else. It's gonna probably by Netflix, because they have international fans. So every fan should see this. And I know that it's a lot more places and a lot more ways you can find it. But in my opinion, it should be on Netflix. That's just me. But other than that, guys, my overall thoughts of this episode is this. Even though I am hopeful that the show is going to be picked up by another network, they should at least try to give it some sort of a decent send off. They didn't. They really want the show gone. And if they really want the show gone, then they shouldn't really be holding on to the rights so hard like they are now. So from what I've heard is that Netflix is having a hard time getting the rights from Disney. But here's the thing. In my humble opinion, if Disney was itching to get rid of this show so quickly by having it 2 hours before its old time slot and literally giving it more of a 30-minute standoff, a 30-minute send-off instead of a full hour, in my opinion, I don't think they gave it a full hour. It didn't feel like a full hour. They didn't give it what it deserved. It deserved at least an hour or maybe two. They didn't give it that. If they wanted the show gone so bad, then they shouldn't have any problems getting rid of the rights and giving it to another person. Or not another person, but giving it to another network. Because Disney's worth billions. What would they need the money for? That's just me. But other than that, guys, I want to hear your thoughts about this episode. Leave in the comment section below. Let me know how you feel about this episode. Because honestly, I think this episode should have gotten the decent send-off it should have gotten. But it's Disney. They can probably care less about that show, and they're probably happy it's gone. But that's just me, y'all. I want to hear your thoughts. Nature Girl 30 signing off. Peace out. Later.